Today we're going to talk about AeroPod and testing and racing in different profiles. Profile 4 on AeroPod is designed for testing in closed loops or out and back rides. It is highly precise, and this is what you would use testing wheels, helmets, or clothing, and as well as ride position. In Profile 3, which you would just directly copy from Profile 4, AeroPod will be used for racing or your everyday training rides. In Profile 3, this CDA measurement tends to be a bit more rapid. You'll see changes in CDA when you change bike position or hand position on your bars. I'm going to show you now how to use Isaac to set up and fine-tune your AeroPod. Firstly, make sure your AeroPod is connected to Isaac. You see this by the illuminated green USB icon. Next, you'll go to the Device tab to set up device. Click the Next button. Click on Profile 4. Now enter in your parameters. I am 175 pounds and I am 5'8". We'll set it up as a time trial bike. Bike gear and weight is all right. The tire size I am riding is 700C by 23. This is a very important step. Make sure your tire pressure corresponds to the pressure you truly ride. Set it up for best accuracy, and the profile will be sent to the AeroPod. I've installed the Connect IQ app on my Garmin already, as well as mounted my AeroPod to the bike rigidly without movement, and I've already performed a sensor pairing on the AeroPod, as well as the calibration ride. Let's talk about Profile 4 Aero testing. This is a very precise measure for CDA, and there are some important things to follow. Firstly, you want to make sure you're riding in a closed course, either a loop or an out and back. You want to ride for about 5 to 7 minutes. So your loop or your out and back ride will be dependent on that 5 to 7 minutes. It's important to make sure that your tires are inflated to the pressure that you entered in when you set up the AeroPod using Isaac. When testing in Profile 4, you don't want a ton of wind. You don't want gusty winds. Wind is okay, but you don't want to be riding in a gale. You also don't want to ride on courses or out and backs where there's significant traffic or other cyclists coming around and getting in front of you and creating draft situations. That will throw your numbers off. Now my AeroPod's all set up. I'm going to set off and go ride to a location where I can do some closed loop testing. So I'll just turn on the AeroPod and basically let it warm up while we ride. And we're good to go. I've ridden out to the area where I'm going to do some testing. The loop I'm going to ride is about 1 mile long. I'm going to ride my bike a few feet and then I'm going to click the lap button on my Garmin. It's important to make sure that you click that lap button at the same exact place to start and finish your testing. I usually find a little marker on the road, such as this white little crosswalk area where they have a stop sign posted. So that's where I will start and stop my Aero testing. So I'll set off now and go for a test. I'm now getting back to the point where I initially started my lap marker, and I'm going to press the button again. When testing equipment, you should perform 3 or 4 laps of the same ride position, and then we will use Isaac to pull the CDA data from that. So we're back in the Isaac software now. Today was a beautiful day, so I actually did 9 rides in the same loop. One of the unique features with AeroPod is that when you hit the lap button on your Garmin when testing in Profile 4, it will create a separate ride file for each lap that you completed. Using Isaac, I selected one of the ride files from one of the middle portion laps that I did. You'll see in the bottom left of Isaac, I used Newton Tracker, and it shows the course or the route that I rode, which was a closed loop today. When you click the lap button, the starting CDA in Isaac is from the prior lap that you did. You'll see as I rode, my CDA was 0.393. I calculated this by taking the heart rate channel, adding 180 to it, and then dividing by 1,000. You'll see through the middle portion of that ride is all live CDA data. At the very end of the ride, when I click the lap button again, you'll see my CDA was 0.391. So we're within 2/1000ths of the starting CDA. Very repeatable results. As we discussed earlier, when testing in Profile 4, you're either going to use a closed loop or an out and back ride. For demonstration purposes, I wanted to show you what an out and back ride would look like. As you see here in the lower left-hand corner, the Newton tracker shows you what the out and back looks like. And in here through the ride file, you'll see the same repeatable data that you did when testing in the closed loop. It's important to note that when you're doing testing, you stick to the type of ride you chose originally. So if you're going to do closed loop testing, do all of your testing in the closed loop. If you're going to do out and back testing, make sure you do all of those tests in the same out and back.